So how's it going, bosses? Hope everyone's having a fantastic weekend. Now, I thought it'd be fun to put together a list of my top 5 for 5 to buy before I die. Pretty much what that means is these are 5 fragrances that I have to own in my lifetime. So I'm going to be back in just a second with my top 5. So welcome back, you're watching the Luxury Fragrance Boss channel. My name's Scott, of course I'm the Luxury Fragrance Boss. Thank you for joining me for another top 5. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Otherwise, thank you again for coming back for another top 5. Now, when I was putting together my list of top 5 fragrances to buy before I die, I did have a couple of rules in place. So these cannot be fragrances that I've owned before. So I'm also going to tag, I'm also going to put a link to my top 5 fragrances of all time, because these will not be, the two lists will not be the same, because basically these are they're fragrances that I want to own, and I've pretty much bought all of them so far with the exception of one, but I do have a small bottle of it. So these cannot be fragrances that I've owned before. So things like Straight to Heaven Extreme, Widian Limited 71 Extreme, and I do have a small bottle of Clive Christian's Jump Up and Kiss Me Hedonistic, which is also on that list as well. So those are not going to be in this list. This is a list of my top fragrances that I've tried, which I haven't actually purchased yet, but I do feel the need to purchase. Definitely in my lifetime I have to own these fragrances because I do love them so much. So I've got a couple of honourable mentions as well. So we'll kick off with one of the honourable mentions right now. So which one shall I go for? Honourable mention number 1, I'm going to go with Blackmail from Kerosene, which is a limited edition. Well, it's not limited edition, but it's limited availability because this is exclusive to their website. But this one is just absolute phenomenal. It's just like a nice, it's just a nice smoky, it's quite a hard one to describe. It sits somewhere in between a couple of my other favourite fragrances as well, which is By the Fireplace from Maison Margiela and Interlude Man from Amouage. And this one sort of sits right in between the two. It's got like the power and that beautiful incense that you get with Interlude, but it's also got a lot of sweetness to it as well. So it sits somewhere right in between those, but it's an absolutely stunning fragrance. And as I said, this one's only available on the Kerosene website. So if you haven't tried a sample of this one, definitely get your hands on this one, because this one is absolutely delicious. This is at the lower price point as well. I can't remember the size of their bottles. I think they're 50ml, but they're around, I think, $135 going off the top of my head. But yeah, this is definitely one that I need to own. I've only actually tried a couple from the House of Kerosene, so I do really need to get on ordering some more samples from them, because I know they've got some phenomenal fragrances. But yeah, so honourable mention number 1 will be Blackmail from Kerosene. So into my top 5 now then. So in number 5, I'm going to go, well, these are in no particular order. But I'm going to go with probably 2 of the most recent reviews that I've done first of all. So obviously Liwa from Widian. This one I just think is absolutely phenomenal. I fell in love with this one within pretty much an hour, 30 minutes, maybe even as soon as I put it on. I pretty much decided that I needed to own this fragrance. The best way of describing this one, I mean, obviously I recently did a review of this one. So check that one out if you've not checked out the review of that one yet. The closest thing that I can really think of that this one sits to is Baccarat Rouge 540. It's not quite as sickly sweet. Not that I'm saying Baccarat 540 is sickly sweet, but it's not got that sort of really candy sweetness to it. This one's a little bit more relaxed in that kind of sort of sweetness, but it's just a phenomenal, very, very addictive fragrance. Definitely worth checking out, especially, I mean, I love Limited 71 Extreme, which is a gourmand. This one's Oriental floral, but they are very, very close. So if you didn't manage to get your hands on Limited 71 Extreme, which is an extremely limited production bottle, there was only 900 bottles made and it's all sold out now. Thankfully I managed to get my hands on one, but if you don't manage to get your hands on that one and you did actually love it, or if you really like the sound of it, definitely check out Liwa, because I mean, it is quite close. Obviously this one's the floral version, the Limited 71 is the gourmand version. But this one, I mean, they are very, very close, very, very close. But this one, absolutely phenomenal. I don't see that anyone could not love this fragrance. Pretty much after putting in my review, I found out that pretty much everybody loves this fragrance. There's a couple of people that said they owned it and then sold it on because it wasn't for them. I can understand if you're more like, if you're more into your woodier fragrances and things like that, this may not be for you. But if you do like something with a little bit of sweetness and something a little bit powdery, this one's absolutely phenomenal. So in number 5 spot, as I said, in no particular order, but in number 5, we've got Liwa from Widian. So into number 4. Now, number 4, I'm going to go to a house that I've only had the experience of trying a few fragrances from. I think I've tried 4 from the house of Nishane, sorry. It completely went out my head then. So from the house of Nishane, I tried Hasivat, which I liked, but it was similar to Aventa, so I'm not a big lover of Aventa, so I'm not looking for sort of to add anything in that sort of realm back into my collection. I already got Aventa, so but yeah, I'm not so much into the freshies and fruities anymore. But this one's like a nice mixture of rum and coconut. It's just absolutely phenomenal. It's got a nice sort of smokiness to it. I mean, obviously, Blackmail as well is like that nice sort of smoky smell. But this one just, I mean, I really normally do not like coconut in a fragrance. I'm not a big fan of Virgin Island water for that reason. I think Virgin Island water pretty much smells like a Malibu and Coke. So yeah, I generally don't like coconut in fragrances, but in this one, it's been done so well, and it's mixed so well with like the tobacco and the rum that sits in this. And it's just a beautiful boozy but smoky fragrance. And when I wore this one, I just could not get enough of it. So far, I mean, this, as I said, I've tried a few others as well. I can't think the other names of the other ones that I've reviewed them all on the channel before from Nishane, but this one definitely stands out head and shoulders above the rest to me. Absolute phenomenal fragrance. So in number 4, we got Fan Your Flames from the house of Nishane. So now we're getting into the top 3, but as I said, not in any particular order. So in number 3, I'm gonna go to another one that I've recently done as a review of as well, which is of course Au Coeur Du Desert. Au Coeur Du Desert, which means the heart of the desert. This one, if you're fond of Lair de Desert Moroccan, this is pretty much the extract version. I love this one because it's just so smooth. Now, I do really enjoy Lair de Desert Moroccan, and some of you may have seen, if you follow me on Instagram, that I've had discussions with people about which one's better. Personally, for me, I prefer this one. I just think it's smoother, I find it stronger, and this one did something, this one did something to me that Lair de Desert Moroccan didn't. I remember really enjoying Lair de Desert Moroccan when I wore it, but this one I just absolutely fell in love with. I'm just gonna have to have a good smell of this one. This one as well, I mean, to give you some idea of the strength of this one, well, let's talk about the smell of this one as well first. Now this one, if you imagine going on holiday somewhere near the desert, maybe Morocco or Egypt, now you get that sweet, spicy smell of the desert air and the sand that blows off that desert, and it's got like a kind of sort of sweet spiciness to it. That's exactly what you get with this. I mean, when I originally did my review of Lair de Desert Moroccan, I think I called it bottled 5-star resort air, which is pretty much what it smells like. You know, when you go out on the balcony of like an Egyptian resort. I mean, I'm going from experience from when I went to Egypt and stayed just around the desert area, and just the smell that you got in the evenings, and just in that sort of 5-6 o'clock as the sun sort of starts to set. Oh my God, all the smells that come in, and probably a mixture of like the spices and things like that from the local restaurants or from like a local spice market. Just absolutely phenomenal fragrance. This one, as I said, this one's just a little bit smoother to me, and the extract version, it's a more concentrated version, maybe not quite as spicy, but just an absolutely phenomenal fragrance. This is one that my wife really loved as well. After pretty much 11 hours, I think it was, my wife came home around sort of 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. I've been wearing this, bearing in mind this is out of a dabber, I've been wearing it since 8 o'clock and 8:30 in the morning. My wife came home and she said, I love what you're wearing today. And of course, it was this one right here. Blackmail as well was another one that my wife absolutely adored. She said, you can definitely buy that one. So I will be buying that one, which is one of the reasons it is in this list. So in number 3, we've got Au Coeur Du Desert, Au Coeur Du Desert from the house of Andy Tower. So number two. I still haven't quite decided which one I'm going to use as the honourable mention. I'm going to guess with number 2, I'm going to go for Bruno Fazzolari. And the one I'm going for is not Unsettled, it's not one of his more popular ones, it's Lampblack. What I love about this one is it's just so unique. It's just such a phenomenal smelling fragrance. It's hard to sort of really describe this one, but it's one that I just absolutely fell in love with. It's pretty much made to smell. I think the inspiration for this one is like the kind of like the sootiness that you get from the smell of like the old gas lamps and things like that. I mean, it's definitely a more sort of, it's got a kind of sweetness to it as well. Much more of a masculine fragrance, I'd say. But this one, I mean, it really is a struggle to describe this one. I mean, I will post, well, I'll put the link to my full review of this one, where I go into the notes and everything like that. I'm trying to keep this one fairly short, so I don't want to go sort of too in depth with all the fragrances, but I'm talking about why I love them. And this one, yeah, for its uniqueness, and it's just got like a sort of a sooty powderiness to it, but a sweetness. So unique and so different, and I absolutely love it. So in number 2, Bruno Fazzolari's Lampblack. So my second honourable mention then, before I get into my number 1, well, as I said, they're in no particular order. My second honourable mention is going to be Carner Barcelona's Sandor 70s. Now, a couple of people, because obviously I got this one recently, Creed's Tabarome. I was very lucky enough to be able to get a tester from work. I've wanted that one for a long, long time. When I originally asked for it, they actually stopped supplying it because there was a shortage of the ingredients. But then we managed to get it back in again not that long ago, actually. I think about 6 or 7 months ago, when I finally managed to get myself a tester. But something I really do love about Tabarome is it's much more of a masculine sort of cigar, like a stale cigar sort of lounge sort of smell to it, which I really, really do love. It's just definitely much more masculine, and that's very similar to Carner Barcelona's Sandor 70s. This one just smells like an upmarket New York cigar lounge, if you can imagine, like the smell of like really plush leather and oak furniture in there. Mixed with sort of the smell of maybe some whiskey in the air and some brandy, maybe some cognac in the air, and then also that beautiful sort of Cuban cigar smoke, real high-end cigars. That's exactly what you're getting with this one. I know it's in almost the best possible way, if I can say that, because it is an amazing fragrance. I know quite a few of my followers have actually gone ahead and bought this one as well after I did my review of this one. And this one I also put in my top 5 tobacco fragrances. This is one I do really, really want to add to my fragrance to my list very, very soon. Probably with autumn coming up as well. Be a fantastic time to do it. Also, I'll be heading to Miami in the next few months as well. So I'll be visiting Osmi Perfumery in Miami. So I'll definitely be paying a visit to there, and I look forward to adding some of these over the next few months as well. As I said, I'm trying to dial it a little bit back at the moment because me and my wife are trying to save money, so I'm trying to be very, very careful in choosing which ones. But yeah, definitely that's one of the ones that I really want to add in there very soon. So into the number 1 spot now. This one I've tried it in as it's usual in like the little sample spray, but the one I'm actually pulling out I've got a pen of as well, which as I said, but I don't actually own a full bottle of this one. I've got a couple of the Fragrance de Bois fragrances. I've got Oud Vert and I've got Oud Violet, which unfortunately Oud Violet was discontinued recently, but the one that I'm putting in my number 1 spot is Syrah Oud. This one is absolutely phenomenal. Now, bearing in mind, this one's really, really rosy. To begin with, its opening is extremely rosy, and many of you will know that I do not like rose. Although I'm starting to warm to some rose fragrances particularly Aaron Terence Hughes. He uses a Turkish rose. I really like More Than Words as well, which I recently tried. So yeah, I mean, certain rose fragrances, it depends on the blend, I think, and I seem to really like it when it's mixed with oud, but yeah, I mean, much more rosy fragrances I tend to find very, very sour. I find with rose extract and things like that. But yeah, I mean, this one, sorry, let's get back to Syrah Oud. So this one is very, very rosy in the opening, and that lasts about an hour. I really didn't enjoy this one for the first hour, but then it turns absolutely phenomenally good. If you can imagine, I mean, if you're a big fan of African leather from Memo, If you imagine an oud version of that, that is exactly what you get with this one. It's a beautiful sort of real sort of smooth, creamy oud. Just absolutely phenomenal. The rose, as I said, it's really there. It's really present in that first sort of 45 minutes to an hour in the opening. But once that dies down, oh my God, this turns into an absolutely phenomenal fragrance. Something I noticed with all the Fragrance de Bois as well is they all have quite a strong opening. Quite a few of them have got rose in the opening as well. But then when they settle down, they just go absolutely phenomenal, which is why it's one of my favourite houses as well. So yeah, in number 1 spot we've got Syrah Oud. So let's just go over a quick recap there. Obviously I had Kerosene's Blackmail, Bruno Fazzolari's Lampblack, Sandor 70s from Carner, Barcelona, Towers at Au Coeur Du Desert, Fan Your Flames from Nishane, and Liwa from Widian. So phenomenal fragrances, all of which I plan to buy before I die, pretty much. Hopefully much sooner than that. So yeah, hopefully all within the next sort of 6 months. These are the ones that I plan on buying. Obviously this list could change next week or whenever I find another phenomenal fragrance. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video on my top 5. I would love to hear your top 5s. Let me know what you're going to be buying or what you feel you really must have in your collection. I mean, obviously, I'm very, very careful with what I buy now because I don't get to wear my own fragrances a lot because I'm doing reviews all the time. So I'm constantly testing out new fragrances. I mean, I do have probably close to 40 bottles, all of which I absolutely love. So I only buy things that I really, really love because I've got to know that I'm really going to wear it. So that's exactly why I don't buy I don't go just buy anything that I just like. So, I mean, I'm happy to sort of wear anything to do reviews, and I'm warming up to sort of, I think I'm opening up to more kinds of different fragrances now. Like I said, I've done a couple of rose ones recently, which I would steer well clear of before. But yeah, I mean, like I said, in the comment section below, please let me know your top 5s. Let me know what you'll be buying before you're dying. Other than that, make sure you follow me on Instagram. You can find me at Luxury Fragrance Boss. That way, keep up to date with my scent of the day, anything else I've got going on, anything crazy that the cats are up to, whether they're keeping me awake, anything like that. Make sure you hit that notification bell. That way you'll never miss another video because you'll find out anytime I'm releasing a new video and you'll be the first to know. Besides that, stay smelling fantastic. I look forward to seeing you very soon, and thank you so much for watching.